So in Islam, Jesus is pure and sinless. Exactly.
Yep, so the Quran doesn't say that he was sinless. It just says that he was born pure. Why? Because there was a virgin birth. That's why he's pure. Okay. Now, him being born pure, let's say it means sinless. He's born sinless. Okay, so he's born sinless. It doesn't mean he can't sin. But that's not what the verse is even saying. It's not saying that he's born sinless. He's born pure. Okay. He's born without adultery, without fornication. And that hadith, which by the way I don't believe, but anyways, I'll be fair with the hadith. It doesn't say that he's sinless as well. It just says he wasn't touched by the devil. So he's just reading his own ideas into the text and presenting it as the text, even though that's not what the data says. And you can't get any information from the Quran that Jesus was always sinless. Or in fact, that the Quran says that he was born sinless. Of course, everyone's sinless when they're born. The text is just saying he was born purely. And we know from the text of the Quran how that was. Okay, because there was no adultery or fornication.
Exactly. And so does Allah want us to be sinless like Jesus? Well, obviously Allah doesn't want us to sin. No. Why would you think? No, Muhammad said if we had not sinned, Allah would have wiped us out of existence and replaced us with a people who would sin so that they would seek his forgiveness.
So the person who told Bukhari this was Muhammad ibn Rafi'i, and Muhammad ibn Rafi'i told Bukhari that he himself heard from a person before who heard from a person before who heard from a person before, and this person is telling Bukhari that, okay, we can't take that seriously for religion, right? So there's no way that we can say that this is from Islam. But I will address the Quran verse. Yeah, so the verse isn't saying that all creatures have sinned. The verse is saying that the people have sinned. The people, not every creature, right? God would destroy the people. If he was to destroy the people immediately after their wrongdoing, then there would be no living creature on the land, right? It's not saying the animals sinned or anything like that. It's the people that have sinned. But with that comes the destruction of other things as well, right? This wasn't even the point that he was arguing, by the way. I just, I thought that would be a point to remember if anyone has watched this and needs to understand that verse, I guess.
Therefore, all creatures have sinned. But then if Islam teaches that Jesus didn't sin,
it doesn't teach that.
That would mean he wasn't created. No.
Okay, so the Quran doesn't teach that he never sinned. That hadith doesn't teach that he never sinned. There's nothing that you can explicitly prove that Prophet Muhammad said that. And so you can't say that Islam actually teaches that, right? And I'm pretty sure like Michael Jones is interested in the historical Islam, but from that you don't find Prophet Muhammad teaching that he was sinless. Okay, it's not an Islamic teaching. Okay, you can't prove that just because it says Jesus was born pure or that he was a pure child. Doesn't mean that he's now sinless. We have verses in the Quran that say, for example, in the story of the angel and Moses, it says that Moses calls the boy pure. Does that mean now necessarily that the boy Moses means that the boy is God? It's like, it makes no sense. The other thing is that the Quran says that Prophet Muhammad is the one who purifies the people. Now, imagine the Quran also tries to say that there is no God but Allah. Then that means that in the Prophet's like kind of lingo, or how the Prophet speaks, when the Prophet says that he comes to purify the people, that means now that he's God, because purify means to make someone sinless, right? And only God can make someone sinless, right? These are all contextualized verses. Okay, you need to contextualize the verses.
Ooh, what do you think? No, Jesus was just a messenger that was sinless. But Islam teaches that all creatures have sinned. So Jesus cannot be part of the created order. Listen, Habibi.
Look, I don't want the rest of the video to be cringe because you know that what he's saying is wrong, right? So the rest of the video is going to be extremely cringe. But I want to punish you guys.
At times like this, you must turn your brain off and blindly follow Muhammad. This is what our top experts teach.
I'd rather take Allah's text, what Allah said, over my little brain all day, every day.
The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you better believe we follow him blindly.
If you doubt something in Islam that is beyond doubt, the Prophet ﷺ, if you look down at him, if you think bad about him, if you think something wrong with the Quran, if you think Allah Azza wa Jal is unfair, you're a kafir.
It's because that's why